Yeah, it is truly a passion, mission driven organization. And, in our mission statement, we describe ourselves as a growing, passionate community. And we truly are. And School of Rock is magic. And, we change lives through music. We do it in the coolest way possible by putting you in bands and on stages.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Franchise. As always, I am your host, Paul Ehlinger. Super stoked today. We've got Stacey Ryan from School of Rock here. Stacey, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
Absolutely, any day of the week. And for those who may or may not know, who the heck are you and how'd you get here?
That's a loaded question. Um, so I am the president of School of Rock. I've been with this organization for just over 10 years,
Hmm.
and I came here as a consultant with no intention of staying
Yep.
and
A
got hooked.
reluctant leader, you could call her.
I got hooked, and yeah, I always say 10 years later, I'm the president with no intention of
Yeah.
leaving. So yeah, I've spent my entire career in youth enrichment in
Hmm.
the education field, over 25 years in franchising. But School of Rock is my home.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I think one of the things I really want to talk on is your leadership and kind of how you have grown from I just want to be a consultant to now I'm the leader, and kind of what it takes to become that person. Because I think it's something that there's a few personalities that are self-selected to be CEOs and leaders, and there's other people that I think develop into it. I would put myself into the that camp.
Yeah.
But I think you and I were talking before, and you've worked in bad cultures before, and I'm curious, like, what would you never replicate as a leader? Like, what did you take from those bad days and you led by anti-example from?
Yeah, I would say, oh my gosh, I learned so much and I've changed so much and I continue to change, right? I think
Yeah.
that's one of the most important things about leadership. Like, you're never done learning, you're never done growing. There's always places where you can adjust, improve,
Hmm.
and, frankly, just be better. But,
Yeah.
for me, I left a toxic culture once I treated my team in a way that I wasn't proud of. And I'll,
Yeah.
I'll never forget the moment, a woman needed time off to take
Mm.
care of a family matter. And I gave her a real hard time about that.
Yeah.
So my team knows, like, your time is your time. Your
Yeah.
PTO is yours, and I'll
Yeah.
never ask. And I have an amazing team, and I had a woman who just started reporting to me, and every time she would submit for PTO, she would give me this like dialogue of
And
like,
you're
I'm
like, it's
taking
like
this,
pretty chill. Just
yeah, like, I'm taking this day off because I need to take my mom to go and do this and blah 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 and this and that. And like, finally I said, look, I love knowing what you're doing on
yeah,
your
love
days
to know
off
about your life.
because
Yeah.
it's interesting to me, and I, care about you, but like, you don't have to give me that background. Like, that is
Yeah.
yours. So I would just say, like, an overall level of gratitude and
Hmm.
respect
Yeah.
for all team members and the roles that we play, and the fact that, I said School of Rock is my home, but I have my home also. And
Yeah.
understanding, like, everybody's got other stuff in their life too.
100%. Yeah.
And, just being being respectful of that, being supportive of that, like,
Hmm.
there's a life outside of work, and sometimes life gets hard.
Yeah.
So just being a compassionate, caring human first before
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
That comes first.
Yeah, I think that resonates a lot. I think it's like something I attribute to people's success is you are like you're a person, and that is a very unique and original thing. And the better you are at being as true to that as possible, the better boss you are, the better friend you are, the better partner you are. And
Absolutely.
I think it carries through like how you treat employees. Like if you recognize you are a real person with strengths and weaknesses and faults, you can reflect that onto other people.
Absolutely. And I've got plenty of strengths and plenty of weaknesses. In fact, I stare at one, I'll show you
Oh,
every
please.
single day. This has been on my board next to my screen for 7 years. And it
Yeah.
just says respond versus react.
Yeah.
And, that's like, I was a very reactionary person and
Yep.
can fall into that again very quickly at times.
Something
So
about
that
emotional intentionality.
Exactly. That's just my reminder to like take a breath and, get out of that like dinosaur brain mode.
Yeah.
And once I'm out of there, then I can respond properly.
Yeah, it's brains are stupid. You know, you kind of have to put a layer of not like something in there to make
Yeah.
it better.
Yeah.
Something that stuck out. I always do a prep call with folks before we get onto the show. In that, you said about when people come to meet with you, it's the one conversation that they've been waiting all day for because you're the boss, you're the head honcho. You know, so for you, it's a random 15-minute blog. For them, they talked to their partner about it last night, and they're all nervous for it. I'm curious. You know, how do you approach that then? Like in the day to day, where it's like I know your to do list is 1,000 things long and never gets completed on a given day. So how do you take that intentionality into every meeting with your team?
Yeah, I'm sometimes better at it than, I
Sure.
am at other times, but it's the constant reminder and
Hmm.
and that. And I remind my team of that also. I mean, I remember when I was earlier in my career and I would have those moments with the C-suite executives and I would
Yeah.
spend, days like if I get 2 minutes of their attention, like this is the message I want to get across. This is
Yeah.
what I want them to think of me. Like this is what I want to say to them, and those moments happen so fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, always trying to remember in those moments
Hmm.
that I was there,
Yeah.
and what do I want that person to go home and say about me and their
Yeah.
interaction about me and take from our interaction together in our conversations. And it's not always easy. I do find that I am better at responding versus reacting.
Yeah.
When
There's a
I'm not
reason it's there.
Yeah, when I'm not multitasking. When
Yeah.
I'm multitasking, like it's proven like you
Yeah.
can't
It's react, react,
actually
react. Yeah.
properly it's
Yeah.
it's a myth. It's an urban legend, and you think you're good at it, but you're not giving any one thing your full attention. And
Yeah.
when I find those times that I'm multitasking and I feel it, I shut that down. So the
Yeah.
way that
That
I
makes
do
sense.
it is I really try and schedule those breaks,
Hmm.
right? So if
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
got 3 hours of meetings, I make sure that I've got 15 minutes
Yeah.
of downtime to sort through my emails, see if there's anything urgent,
Hmm.
grab some water, things like that, where I don't feel like I have to do this and that
Yeah.
to accomplish it all.
Yeah.
So it takes discipline and it takes, learning yourself and self awareness.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a ton of sense. And on that note, I always love to ask leaders this. So, you know, you're saying School of Rock is your home. You've been there for a decade now. You intend to be there for another decade. I think one of the things I ask myself all the time is, am I the right person to be in this spot for my own company, right? And I think you either have to be super self-aware and realize where your weaknesses are, so that a decade from now you're still the right person, or you've got to hire somebody. I'm curious when you think about School of Rock, you know, as you expand internationally, how do you maintain being the right person for the role?
Yeah, I love that question. And I think it's what you said, like maintaining that self
Mm-hmm.
awareness of where your strengths and weaknesses are.
Mm-hmm.
I know where my weak spots are.
Yeah.
So, what I do is ensure that I have an amazing team
Mm.
that balances me in that regard.
Yeah.
And, there are certain things that will come my way, and I say, I would love to help you with this, but I'm not the
I
right
wish I could.
person. Right, like, I'll give you an answer, but it's a real crapshoot if it's gonna be the right
Yeah.
one or not.
50-50
So,
here, you
yeah, like,
know?
how about I get you to the person who's the expert in this
Yeah.
area? And,
Hmm.
that's where, going back to the very first thing, like, the way you treat your team and your people, like, I can't do anything that I
Yeah.
do without the rest of the team doing the things that they need to do.
Yeah.
Like, we all need each other,
Hmm.
and we're all rowing in a boat, but
Yeah.
everyone's playing their different role in that boat. And if one person falls short,
Yeah.
everybody feels the
Everybody
impact
feels
of
it.
it. So I think it's like you said, just having that self-awareness and having that open dialogue also.
Hmm.
When we go through annual review period, it's my favorite thing to give the reviews and have those conversations, but I always end it with, what feedback do you have for me?
Yeah. A little
What
360 opportunity.
Yeah, like what
Yeah.
have you observed? What are my areas of opportunity? Like how can I support you better?
Yeah.
And what are the things that I may be falling short on?
Yep.
And when you build a relationship, a professional relationship on trust,
Yep.
it's amazing some of those things that will come out, and you know you feel more comfortable helping each other develop and grow.
Yeah.
It's not just a top down thing.
No, it's
That goes
everybody in the organization.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I love that you touched on this. So this is something I've been weirdly pertinent to this conversation. I've been thinking about for like the last year, and it's really like I think sometimes like I think of like the old white guys in CEO roles at these large companies, and you're like a culture of trust, and they're like, whatever, put it on the board. That shit's fake, like whatever, you know. But I think as I've started to wrap that around my mind, what I've found is that trust actually allows for constructive friction, is what I call it. Like I think there needs to be friction in an organization. If everybody agrees, we're not pushing hard enough. If something doesn't break, we're not pushing hard enough. And I've found that the more trust that everybody has with each other, the more friction they can have, and realize that like I'm pushing you, Stacey, because I want to win and I know you want to win. And it's not because I don't like you or your personality or the fact that you ate tuna in the lunchroom. Like, I'm curious if you think about it the same way there, like as an opportunity to create friction.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
every year, our leadership team, we get together. We literally rent a house
I
that we're
love
in,
that.
and we spend together 3 days, and we go through like what are our initiatives that we want to focus on,
Yeah,
for next year.
yep,
And we talk about, okay, how does that education initiative impact operations? How does
yep.
that impact IT, marketing? And then we talk about the hard things like that's that's a terrible idea.
Yeah,
Why are we doing that?
most nonsensical thing I've ever
Right. And why
heard.
are we talking about this over here? Like, we have this glaring issue over here, or like, I
Yeah,
can't do that. Our department can't handle that. And we have those tough conversations, but
yeah,
they're not tough when they're coming from a place of respect
yeah. We want to
and
win
with
together.
trust. And they're necessary because, we have a big responsibility. We have
Mm,
400, almost 30 locations
yeah,
globally, over 70,000 students worldwide. We have
yep,
entrepreneurs that rely on us. We have, tens of thousands of staff members that
yeah.
that rely on us.
It's
So
real shit.
yeah, like we
It's
we
so
have
real.
to we have to make good decisions, and we
Yeah,
have to challenge each other because everybody's got crap decisions at some point or crap
yeah,
ideas, and we need to call each other out on it, and we
yeah,
do. So I'm really grateful for the team dynamic that we have here, and
yeah.
that goes again well past just the leadership team.
100%.
Franchisees all have my cell phone number and
That's
will
awesome.
text me at any point, be like, hey, like, saw this, like, not so great.
Yeah,
And it's like, okay, let's talk about that. i want to
yeah,
i want to hear that perception. Like, I want to
yeah,
hear from your perspective and understand what you're seeing that maybe I didn't see.
yeah.
So again, it just spans across everybody.
Yeah, no, it makes a ton of sense. And I think, transitioning a little bit here off of that, like, not only are you running a large organization, a large business that's global, thousands of people involved, but it's really like personal thing, right? It's an emotional business. You're connecting with people in life changing ways with the students and the staff. And I think you've mentioned before how people have gone from being students to staff and transitioned into the organization and all of that. For brands out there that hear that, like, what drives that kind of loyalty? Like, it's probably beyond loyalty. I don't even know what that word is at that point. It's
Yeah.
just it's involvement, it's buy-in. Like, how do you go about doing that? How do you go about maintaining that and growing it over time?
Yeah, it is truly a passion, mission driven organization.
Hmm.
And, in our mission statement, we describe ourselves as a growing, passionate community.
Yeah,
And we truly are. And School of Rock is magic.
yeah,
And, we change lives through music. We do
yep.
it in the coolest way possible by putting you in bands and on stages. We change lives. And we have said that for over 20 years,
Yeah.
but we actually now have data behind it. So we just did a social impact study in partnership with Sound Diplomacy.
Hmm.
They launched a survey, and we surveyed thousands of School of Rock community members. And now we know for fact the impact that School of Rock has on
You got to spit the
confidence.
facts. You got to spit the facts for us because they're really great. What are the facts?
Some of my favorite, because we've got tons. So 96% of parents reported noticeable progress in their child's self-confidence levels since starting to attend at School of Rock. And what we've learned, what we've seen is that the growth in that is significant. So from
Yeah.
a student who has been with us for 3 months versus a student who has been with us for over 2 years, some of these statistics have like 180% climb to
Oh
them.
wow,
So
that's
the longer
awesome.
you stay, the more you feel
Yeah,
this
the
growth in
impact grows.
confidence. 80% of parents reported that their children are happier
Yeah.
since joining School of Rock. 87% of parents said that they have more meaningful conversations
Yeah.
with their students since attending School of Rock. And one of my favorite, especially with everything going on right now, 82% of parents observe their child to have improved attitudes towards peers from diverse backgrounds and age groups.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, like I said, there's just more and more to this about
Yeah.
increased activity, about their ability to speak in public, to express their emotions through music. All of this,
Yeah.
we did this survey to truly understand, and it confirmed for us what we already knew,
Yeah.
that School of Rock saves lives through
Yeah.
music.
And I'm curious for this as well. So, like, the scale you're getting to, you start operating in larger economies of scale and money economies, and you're talking to probably bigger potential investors and all this stuff. And I think, some people will look at those stats and go, oh, it's frou frou, like it doesn't really matter, blah, blah, blah. I would think on the other side of that, like, all you're doing is addressing macro trends in America, right? And you're saying, hey, my wife's a psychologist. The amount of people who are more anxious and more depressed is consistently growing, constantly. And so now all of a sudden you have a business that not only does it make money, but it also meets like some of the largest macro headwinds that are occurring in our society. How do you weave that narrative together? Because I think it's super compelling, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know any parent who would put a price tag and a limit
Yeah,
on their
that's a fair
child.
way to put it.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's like the perfect way to put it. Yeah.
right. But, phone based childhoods have replaced play based childhoods.
That's interesting.
And,
Yeah.
since the smartphones, since social media,
Yeah.
suicide attempts have doubled in
Mm-hmm.
teens.
Mm-hmm.
Self-harm in young girls is up 188%.
It's
There's
crazy.
real consequences to what is
Yeah.
happening. And you know what you can't have in your hand when you're playing an instrument?
Turns out a cell phone.
Cell phone. That's right.
Yeah.
We are getting these kids in a room together
And it's community, yeah, I
in an
guess, right? Like they're,
environment
yeah, yeah.
that they can have their phone. Some schools even have phone lockers. You lock your
I
phone
love
up
that.
when you
Yeah.
come
It's
in.
not even a thought. It's not an
It's not
option.
even a thought. And
Yeah.
they're problem solving together. They're learning together. They're learning how to work together, how to make their voices find that right harmony, how to get their instruments, on the right beat and the
Yeah.
tempo, and like, wait, you hit that one too soon. Let's go. Let's try it again. And they're building all of these skills and they're having fun doing it. And
Yeah.
it's not just for kids. We do this for adults too. We've got a great adult program.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we get to do it with, adults who have high stress jobs and want to just like shut down for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, come in and learn how to play a
It's
guitar and jam
awesome.
with us.
Yeah. Just chill out, man. It's just a B chord, just play
Yeah,
it.
it's the music.
Yeah,
Me
I
too.
love that. I've personally I'm a big fan of learning. I just like learning in general. And I realized like what am I not doing? I should be taking classes. Like I took a Spanish class, such a cool opportunity because I get
Yeah,
stuck like I just talk to business leaders all day every day and like, hey, we're great, but sometimes we're freaking annoying, and it's just too much. Once you
right.
get into a room of people from all over the place, all just trying to do a random weird thing that adults don't typically do together, it's a good time.
It's amazing. And I love seeing adults come in for the first time. And
Yeah.
we will in 30 minutes, 45 at most, we'll have all of you playing Seven Nation Army together.
Yes, that's a
It may
perfect.
not sound amazing, but we're going to be
The
playing it.
gist is there. Yeah,
And you're going to know the song. You're going to hear and you're going to be like, I know that
we're
song.
playing
It
it.
is going
Yeah,
to sound exactly the way that it needs to sound. So, but seeing that happen, like walking in, being like, I can't do this. And then a
and
half
then you
hour
produce something.
later,
Yeah, yeah,
playing in a band with other people,
yeah,
the smiles that happen, the joy, the just the ability to see like, oh my god, I can do this and this is
yeah,
fun.
yeah,
It's so cool to watch. It's great to see it with the kids. It's it's sometimes even better to see it with the adults because I think we're harder on ourselves at
Oh
times.
yeah, we've got our inner child is buried somewhere beneath a P&L statement. So
Exactly.
you gotta find it every so often. I love that, and I'm curious. So I'm sold. The culture's great. It's a good business to be in the business of good culture. As you guys grow, right? And so you were just saying you're about to go to the launch of a UK school. You're expanding into Germany, specifically internationally, where cultures are very different, right? And community is very different. How do you translate everything you're doing in School of Rock America into, School of Rock Germany or UK or Colombia or wherever the heck it may be next?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I will start by saying the great thing about music, it is truly the universal language.
Yeah.
It's spoken everywhere. And, I love sharing a story. Our first time that we did Rock in Rio in Lisboa, we
Mm.
had kids from all over the world. And, some spoke English, some didn't, some
Yeah.
were, spoke Portuguese, some spoke Spanish. There were kids from everywhere. And they weren't when I arrived, they weren't blending the way that School of Rock kids typically blend in those events. And we're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And, my VP of international, he's like, oh, I think it's like the language barrier, the cultural barrier. And I was like, I know how to fix this. And a band from Watertown, Massachusetts, they got on and I asked them to do me a favor and they did. And they invited a Brazilian student to come up and play one of their songs with them,
Yeah.
and she knew that song, and we planned it in advance, and they jammed on this song together and they
Hmm.
sounded great. And after that, every single band was inviting a student from another country up on
That's
stage
cool.
with them,
Yeah.
and it was like literally
That's like a
standing
goosebumps
there.
moment, I feel
Yeah,
like you're sitting there. It's just like
yeah.
we're doing the right thing, guys. We
Well,
figured it
you
out.
just watch all those differences like just melt away in
Yeah.
front of your eyes, and it's like now they're friends.
Hmm.
But from a business perspective, there is a real issue, right?
Yeah.
Cultural
Yeah.
difference, legality difference, currency, all those things are different. So we operate with master franchise teams.
Hmm.
So what happens is, we have an amazing team that owns Brazil and Iberia, and they have local people in their
Hmm.
countries that understand those countries and the
Yeah.
culture there.
Yeah.
And we produce the things here in the US, and then they take it and they
Just goes
translate
through a
it
lens. Yeah. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
their local language. And, we work with them very closely. We have
Mm.
amazing master franchise partners, and it allows us to expand in a responsible,
Hmm.
more effective way, so that when we do go into another country, a new country like Germany,
Yeah.
our German partners, they're there. They're in
Yeah.
Germany.
Yeah.
Like they
They
live
are German.
they are German. One is
Yeah.
German, one is not, but he has lived in
Okay.
Germany
Yeah.
for a very long time.
Yeah.
So they understand the things that we don't, and they
Hmm.
educate us. We learn together. We say, "Hey, this is how we operate this,"
Yeah.
and they'll say, "Hey, that's not going to fly with families here in Germany, and this is
Yeah.
why it's not going
That's
to fly."
interesting.
And then we problem solve it together. So it allows us to just grow in a much better way
Yeah.
and just have better impact.
Yeah, and I would imagine, I mean, again, one of the strengths of the franchise system is it's the same business model in a bunch of markets everywhere, right? I imagine there's learnings to be had that can be applied domestically, just from
Absolutely.
these international teams. That has to be, an opportunity you've got to be excited for, I would guess.
Absolutely. I just sent my team out to London
Yeah.
recently, and I was like, I want you to learn how they're doing this thing because they're
Hmm.
doing it, frankly, better than we are.
Yeah, I love
Let's
that.
find out how they're doing it and see how we can take it back and learn from it and roll it out and teach everybody else here how to
Yeah.
do it. So it absolutely, the learning goes in every direction.
Yeah, and I'm curious. I was recently talking with a couple executives at Yum Brands, and they made this
Mm.
decision to move their like U.S. headquarters from Louisville down to Texas, which is crazy because it's called KFC, for the KFC brand. And one of the things they said was just like we need people operating next to each other because the international team is running better in-store experiences, and we need the U.S. team to get that. Like functionally, how do you intend to kind of operationalize some of those learnings, right? Because presumably you're not sending people to London every other week to go learn on it. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, what does that structurally look like as you move forward?
Yeah, I mean, luckily for us, we have, moments every year where the
Mm,
community is brought together.
nice.
So, next year we'll have our international convention that we
Yeah.
call Overdrive, that our international partners all come in for. We designate time to just sit at a table
Yeah.
and talk through these things.
Yeah.
This past year we had our regional meetings.
Hmm.
We have regular touch points. So I have regular touch points with all of our international partners, and we have an international a head of our international operations who is
Yeah.
very, very involved with the domestic operations team also.
Yeah.
So we really pride ourselves on just being, having like that one voice
Hmm.
approach, and to achieve that, y'all have to know what everybody's doing.
Sure. Yeah.
So we make sure that we have good communications,
Yeah.
good frequency and, cadence on having that in-person time together, whether it's physically in person
Hmm.
or face to face, on a screen, but talking through these things, problem solving, learning together, and then taking it from there.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. And transitioning a little bit away from School of Rock, because there's something I wanted to touch to. You created frontwomen.org.
Yeah.
What sparked it? Tell us about it. I thought it was really important, so I wanted to get it some airtime.
I really appreciate that. So, From Women is something that's just always been a part of me.
Hmm.
I knew early on in my career that I wanted to climb, and I've sat in many boardrooms at the table as the only woman,
Hmm.
or, one of three women in a room of 17 people, and the other, one other woman on my level, and the other one was taking notes.
Right.
It's hard. It's different.
Yeah.
It really is. And when I finally reached the point of, getting into the C suite, becoming the chief operating officer here at School of Rock, it was literally, Paul, like the first time in my career that I felt that I could actually exhale.
Yeah,
Like,
you're like, "Whew, we're at the top of the ladder. We could just operate
no,
now."
no, I wasn't at the top. I
Oh,
still
excuse me.
had
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot
the
to
COO.
go.
Yeah, yeah,
But I finally felt like, okay, like I can pit stop, take a
yeah.
breath, and I don't have to be so focused on, okay, now what do I have to do for next?
Yeah,
And
you're in the room of which the other role exists, be it there
right.
or somewhere else in the next few years. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then, I guess I just reached that point in my career and in my life where I realized it's no longer as much about me. It's
Hmm.
about everyone coming up after me
Yeah.
and the path that I can pave for them to hopefully make it a little bit easier
Mm.
than the path that I had to go through. And it was during the pandemic, I had this idea and reached out to another woman who was on the operations team and who I knew was passionate about the topic. And we were like, yeah, let's do it. So we launched frontwomen.org. It's a passion project, and we just do quarterly newsletters where we celebrate, amazing women doing amazing things and
Yeah.
ask them the hard questions. And we do quarterly gatherings where we get together and we learn together. So we'll talk about things like microaggressions, beauty standards,
Yeah.
how those are different, between men and
Turns
women.
out I can wear a hoodie and nobody will question me whenever I walk into a room. It's crazy.
It is. But it's like it's all these different things. I mean, early on in my career, I had a female supervisor tell me that my numbers would be better if I pulled back my hair and put lipstick
Oh
on.
God.
And it's like, wait, lipstick is going to give me the skill sets that I need to
Yeah,
close
you're
these
like so
conferences
much for
better?
all of that school and experience I've gathered.
Right. Like, God, how did I not know that? And by the way, Paul, I freaking
uh,
hate wearing lipstick. Like,
sure.
I'm not a lipstick kind of girl. So, like, I think I've worn colored lipstick 3 times in my life.
Yeah.
I'm more of, a natural, like lip
Yeah, we'll take
gloss.
some
So,
chapstick and call it a day,
yeah. So it's just like, having those conversations and learning together. And I love my favorite thing about Front Women is not just the conversations that we're having in the
Yeah.
group, but it's not just women who come.
Yeah.
We have a gentleman who comes all the time and he says, I'm raising 2 daughters.
Yeah.
I need to know about this stuff.
Yeah.
And I just love feeling that community. It
Hmm.
goes back to building a community.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Front Women.
No, I love it. I think so. I have a past career in venture capital. One of the things I noticed was every boardroom I went into was literally a 55 to 65-year-old white guy who wanted to complain about his wife and talk about golf. And I was like, well, this is really boring. And then I found out it's like a systemic issue. And so me and a partner raised a venture fund called 68 Capital aligned towards this. And for me, it was the same exact thing. I was like, so my wife is Nicaraguan. We don't have kids yet, but we will. And I was like, hopefully they're as entrepreneurial as me, and I don't want them to be systematically opposed when they try to raise venture capital money.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome when people have the ability and the authority to build a world that's better than the one they came into.
Yeah.
And so I applaud you for going down the path.
Thank you. Like I said, I'm kind of at that point where nothing gives me more joy
Mm-hmm.
than seeing others become successful in their career,
Yeah,
and knowing that maybe even just for a small part of it, I helped them
yeah,
in some way.
yeah.
And that's where I am now. Don't get me wrong, I want to keep going. I'm not done yet. But I want to be able to help others also,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
learn from my mistakes, and me to continue to learn from them, because the older I get, the more foreign some of this new stuff becomes. So they help keep me young also.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's totally fair. I was interviewing Stefan Figley, who's with 1-800 Packouts. He's the CEO there, and he was just like, I think the person I learned the most about AI from is my son because he just makes fun of me for my current uses of AI.
Yeah, I actually we had a franchisee who's visiting. I'm in Boston now, and he was, bopping around the city with his two kids and his wife, and I met them for lunch or hanging out, and his son grabs my phone and starts like schooling me on everything. And I was like, I'm gonna become that person right now. And he's 12. I'm like, just make my settings the way that you think they should be. Go for it. I trust you. You know more about it than I do. Go.
That is my favorite one. I was given like a keynote on AI, and I was just like, "Hey, go to your ChatGPT settings and don't share your personal data." Like that is just the easy one. Everybody should go click that button.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I love that. But coming full circle, kind of wrapping up, I think absolutely love this episode. I was really excited for this one. I think a lot of the way you lead feels like a lot of the things I think about. So it's really cool to see somebody like further in their career kind of talking about those things. I just love the conversation about maintaining culture and how it's an active thing and how it's a daily thing and it's intentional and you have to have a post-it note that makes sure you do the thing. Like I think that's really important. So thank you for taking the time today, Stacey.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I can't believe this went so fast. This was,
It just zooms through,
yeah, yeah.
I always like to, like a good late night show host, give you the podium to like sell yourself. Where can people find you? Where can they find Front Women? What do they need to know about School of Rock upcoming? The minute's yours.
Awesome. Thank you. So Front Women is easy. Visit frontwomen.org. It is free. You can join our mailing list, and from there, you'll just be in the know. So you'll know about our calls, you'll receive our newsletters. Would love to hear from anybody who has ideas on it as well. But that's an easy one. So please just come and join our community. School of Rock, I always say, you don't understand School of Rock fully until you see School of Rock in action.
Yeah.
If there is a school near you, go see their show. Nothing is better. I'm just the roadie. I'm here
Yeah.
for the kids.
Yeah.
And every time I watch the kids, I'm like, they are way cooler than I ever was at
Yeah,
their
sure.
age.
Yeah.
But everything I do, honestly, is for them to have better learning experiences, for them to have better life experiences, memorable
Yeah.
moments, and carry those with them for the rest of their lives. So
Mm-hmm.
School of Rock is just the most revolutionary music school in the world, but it's so much more than just a
Yeah.
music school.
Yeah.
And visit us at schoolofrock.com. You can learn more. Schoolofrock.com/sign up has some of those statistics that I was sharing with you before and even more. So you can
Yeah.
read a little bit more about our social impact study. I can be found on all the things, on LinkedIn, Stacey Ryan. I'm on Instagram, Stacey Ryan. So I'm pretty
Consistency, yeah.
easy to find. And I love hearing from everybody. I just shared, some of the results from our impact study on both LinkedIn and on Instagram. And on my Instagram, I was getting so many personal
That's
messages
so cool.
from community members, from parents, just saying like, we've experienced this firsthand and sharing their story with me.
Yeah.
And I just, I love that. I mean, it gives me, it's my purpose,
Yeah.
and it
That's good
helps.
screenshot material, for those down days. You got to pull one out every so often. It's good to have
Absolutely.
them.
Absolutely. Lucky for me, there aren't many bad days,
Yeah.
aren't many down moments, but when there are, because there are, it's very easy to
Yeah.
find that fix and to remember why we're doing it.
Yeah. No, that's exciting. Well, again, Stacey, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And everybody else, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as me. I think just a ton of great leadership philosophy in this one. And absolutely go check out School of Rock and frontwomen.org. And thank you for listening to this episode. And we'll talk to you on the next one. Talk to you then.